Hey everybody, welcome to Ezekiel's Fishing Bucket. I'm Ezekiel, and today I want to talk about sinkers because there's a lot of them out there, and sometimes it's just hard to know which one to choose. So I have these arranged from left to right with my experience of what rolls the most all the way to what doesn't roll at all. But we'll get back to that later. So first is the barrel sinker. As you can imagine, just by its name, it rolls very easily unless you actually throw it with the current downstream, because then the movement of the water keeps it in line instead of rolling around. Next is the split shots. Some people call them egg sinkers. These I use quite frequently. I think we all do. They don't so much as roll as tumble, but because of the wings, especially on the back of the reusable ones, they will catch on rocks, and they actually do a pretty good job of staying in place. They do fall slower because they're not made in the same weight category as something like any of the other weights. Next up is the bullet weight. The bullet weight I personally use as a weight leading towards the hook. So if you're using something that's a live minnow or something that you just don't want it swimming too far out of your strike zone, slide this on your line leading to your hook. Always recommend protecting your hook with a bead. This way it just keeps that fish down and in the strike zone of where you want it to be. Next is what is a bank sinker. They are fairly easy to roll, but not so much because, as you can see, they have multiple sides to them. What's really cool about the bank sinker is that it is very easy to dislodge from things like rocks, underwater debris, oyster bars, all kinds of stuff. So highly recommend those if you're going to be around a lot of structure. Next up is the no roll sinker. And with this, because of its shape, as you can see, it doesn't roll, but it will slide, especially if there's a really bad undercurrent or if it's tide is coming in or going out. It might be subject to sliding around. Sometimes you can fix that just by going up from, say, a 2 to a 3 ounce, but not always. Next is your pyramid. It doesn't so much roll as you actually have to, the current has to turn its faces. So this is probably my most used. These two are actually my most used. And last but not least is the Sputnik. The Sputnik does not roll. It doesn't even tumble. It actually buries itself in the sand when it makes impact. And because of its tines, when you reel back on it, it digs it into the sand and it buries itself. This is important to remember because your knots have to be strong to withstand basically the force that it needs to dislodge this out of the sand and the force of it being dislodged possibly by something taking your bait. But they are great sinkers for very bad undercurrents and when nothing else will stay. I've used every single one of these. I still use every single one of these. And I rarely use the Sputnik, but when I do need to use it, I'm very glad it's there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I might make this into a part 2 as far as different rigging styles for all these sinkers. Drop a comment or like if that's something that you're interested in seeing, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.